So very good evening all of you. We are continuing our discussion on cost of capital. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the concept, the theory. I have given you a very detailed background of what is cost of capital, how it is to be calculated, what is the significance and all. Then I told you there are two levels in problems. First one is called specific cost of capital. Second one is called overall cost of capital. In that specific cost of capital, we have discussed about cost of debt and cost of preference share capital. So we have discussed cost of debt and cost of preference share capital. A very quick revision of formulae. So if you remember, cost of debt is classified into two situations. One is irredeemable. Second one is redeemable. So here cost of debt KD is equal to interest rate into 1 minus T, or you can also calculate as interest rupees into 1 minus T divided by net proceeds into 100, or if market price of debentures is available, in the place of net proceeds we consider market price. So this is in case of perpetual debt. Correct? Then also we have redeemable debt. So what is redeemable debt? Redeemable debt is, in the question, if they have given that the life of debentures is 5 years, or after 5 years, or after 10 years, after n number of years, after a specified period, if they say that the debentures are going to be redeemed, then in case of redeemable debentures, we calculate cost of debt like this. Interest into 1 minus tax rate is first component. Second component is redeemable value minus net proceeds divided by number of years, whole divided by redeemable value plus net issue proceeds divided by 2, average liability, the whole formula multiplied with 100. So this is going to be cost of debt. So you remember this. Once you revise the formulae, we will go and solve some problems now. Okay, just read the formula and try to understand. Now, in the question, expressly if they have given that the debentures are redeemable, they have given that after n number of years they are to be redeemed, then only we consider them to be redeemable. Unless otherwise specified, the problem is silent. They neither mentioned that they are redeemable nor they mentioned that they are irredeemable. Then by default we assume that they are irredeemable, because unless n is given as 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, 12 years, how can I apply formula where n is there? So if it is not specifically mentioned about the life of the debenture, then always it is to be assumed that the debentures are irredeemable. So is that clear? So shall we continue? So what is the page number in your textbook? Open the page number. So go to cost of capital chapter, page number 70. Page number 70. So guys, open page number 70 in the textbook. Page number 70. So we are starting with problem number 1. 5 years ago, Sona Limited issued 12% irredeemable debentures. So what debentures these are? Irredeemable debentures. So clearly they mentioned that they are irredeemable. So what is the issue price at 103 rupees? A 3 rupees premium to their par value of 100 rupees. So what is face value? 100 rupees. What is premium? 3 rupees. So what is issue price? 103. When these shares are issued? 5 years ago. The current market price of these debentures is rupees 94. Underline, current market price is given. What did I tell you? If market price is given in the question, then take market price while calculating cost of debt. Corporate tax rate is 35%. What is the current cost of debenture capital? This is the question. So put the heading problem number 1. You don't need to wait for me. If you can calculate, take your calculator, Take your pen and paper, solve it, tell me, Pavan sir, this is the answer. I really appreciate if you can pick up numbers from your textbook, if you can do it yourself. Okay, so I am doing problem number 1. Problem number 1. Okay, now what is this? 1. Cost of irredeemable debt. Cost of irredeemable debt. Okay, is equal to KD is equal to I into 1 minus T divided by market price into 100. Okay, now go back to the question. So what is the interest rate? 12%. So 12% on 100 rupees is 12 rupees. So I'll take rupees 12. I'm writing rupees intentionally because that 12 I'm writing is not percentage. That is 12 rupees. How the 12 rupees came? 100 rupee face value into 12% is equal to rupees 12. So this is what I have taken in the formula. 12 rupees into 1 minus, what is the tax rate given in the question? Tax rate given in the question, is it 35%? Yes, 0.35. Whole divided by, what is the market price given? Is it 94 rupees? Market price 94 into 100. That is equal to, so take calculator, solve it and tell me. 12 into 0.65 divided by 94 into 100. That is equal to 8.297%. So I can write 8.30%. So I can write 8.30%. So what is the answer? 8.30%. This is question number 1. Basic question. Are we done? Can I go to second question? Again, I'm telling you, I really appreciate if you are able to pick up numbers yourself, if you are able to solve it yourself. Okay? Chalo, let us go to question number 2. Problem number 2. Borrower Limited issued 10,000 10% debentures of 100 each. So how many shares are issued? How many debentures are issued? 10,000 debentures. What is the interest rate? 10% debenture. What is the face value? 100 each on 1st April. Okay. The cost of issue was 25,000. Underline, issue expenses are there. Do you remember? Net proceeds is equal to gross proceeds. Gross proceeds minus issue expenses. So for 10,000 debentures, issue expenses is 25,000. Can you calculate and tell me per debenture how much? Per debenture how much? For 10,000 debentures, 25,000. Can I say per debenture it is 2 rupee 50 paise? Correct. Per debenture it is 2 rupee 50 paise. The company's tax rate is 35%. Determine cost of debentures if they were issued A at par, B at a premium of 10%, C at a discount of 10%. 3 situations. Okay. Shall we do it? Put the heading problem number 2. Problem number 2. Under that, first we write issue expenses per debenture is equal to 25,000 is the cost for 10,000 debentures. So per debenture it is 2 rupee 50 paise. So what is the issue expenses? 2 rupee 50 paise per debenture. Correct? Now what is the formula? Cost of debt KD is equal to interest into 1 minus tax rate divided by net proceeds into 100. Situation A, debentures issued at par. Debentures issued at par. So KD is equal to, what is the interest rate given? 10 rupees. So 100 rupee face value, 10% interest rate. So rupees interest is 10 rupees. How? 100 rupees into 10%. 10 rupees. Into what is the tax rate? Into what is the tax rate? They have given tax rate as 35%. Correct? Tax rate 35%. So into 1 minus 0.35. 1 minus 0.35 divided by net proceeds. When it is issued at par, 100 rupee debenture you are issuing at 100 rupees. So 100 rupees minus 2 rupee 50 paise. Why am I subtracting 2 rupee 50 paise? Because that is issue expenses. That means though debenture holder is giving 100 rupees to you, effectively you can use only 97 rupee 50 paise, because the 2 rupee 50 paise you are paying either to some broker or underwriting commission or some stamp duty. You are incurring some expense, so that cash is not going to come into your hand. In your hand only 97 rupee 50 paise is coming, okay, into 100. So can you calculate this and tell me 6.5 divided by, can I say 97.5 into 100, is this 6.67%? B, if the debentures are issued at 10% premium, numerator always remains same, 10 into 1 minus 0.35. But when it comes to denominator, what is net issue proceeds? Gross issue proceeds minus expenses. Okay, what is gross issue proceeds here? Can I say 100 rupee debenture at 10% premium if you are issuing, it will become 110 rupees minus 2 rupee 50 paise. Correct? So I hope you understand the logic. 6.5 divided by 110 minus 2.5. Can I say 107.5? Then it is 6.05%. 6.05%. C. Third one is issued at 10% discount. That means 100 rupee debenture, you are issuing it at 90 rupees only. So KD is equal to 10 into 1 minus 0.35. Again numerator remains same, divided by, in denominator, 90 rupees minus 2 rupee 50 paise into 100. That comes to 6.5 divided by 87.5 into 100. It is 7.43%. It is 7.43%. So this is the answer. First situation 6.67, then 6.05, then 7.43. These are the answers. Okay. So you understand this problem, or do you have any doubts? Do you have any doubts? So shall we go to next question? Look here, problem number 3. A company issued 10,000 10% debentures of 100 each on 1/4/2013 to be matured on 1/4/2018. Sir, maturity is also over. Array, ignore the dates. 5 year is the validity. 5 year is the life of the debenture. So based on that we need to calculate. If you want, you can change the dates. It is old problem of ICI study material, so we have taken old dates. The company wants to know the current cost of its existing debt and the market price of debenture is rupees 80. Compute the cost of existing debentures assuming 35% tax rate. So this is redeemable debenture. So we have to use the big formula. You understand? We have to use the big formula. So first put the heading problem number 3. Calculation of cost of redeemable debentures. Calculation of cost of redeemable debentures. Okay, calculation of cost of redeemable debentures. First write down the formula. KD is equal to interest into 1 minus tax rate plus redemption value minus market price. In the question market price is given, divided by number of years, whole divided by redeemable value plus market price by 2. Normally in the formula net proceeds will be there, but what did I tell? I told you if market price is available in the question, we'll take market price only. Correct? So now tell me, what is interest? Interest is 10% debentures of 100 each. So can I write 10 rupees? 10 rupees into 1 minus 0.35. So tax rate is 0.35 only. Tax rate is 0.35. Correct. Correct. Now the question is, in the problem, did they give any redemption value? Did they give debentures are redeemable at so and so? No. They said they are redeemable, but they did not mention redemption price. So what is the common sense? They said they are redeemable, but redemption price is not given. Close your eyes, assume that they are redeemable at par. They are redeemable at par. So they are redeemable at par. 100 minus 80 divided by number of years 5, whole divided by 100 plus 80 divided by 2 multiply with 100. That is equal to 6.50 plus 100 minus 80 is 20. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Divided by 100 plus 80, 180 divided by 2 is 90. So 10.5 by 90. 10.5 divided by 90. So it is 11.67%. This is 11.67%. So what is the answer? Answer is 11.67%. Okay. Now we'll write a note. What is the note? What is the note? In case of redeemable debentures, if redemption value is not given in the question, if redemption value is not given in the question, it is to be assumed that they are redeemable at par. They are redeemable at par. Simple, no? Now remember one more thing. If you observe carefully, in the calculations, I have done all the calculations based on only one debenture. So all the calculations are based on one debenture. So this is for one debenture, 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 this is for one debenture. Alternatively, you can take the values of all the debentures put together. For example, 10,000 debentures of 100 rupees each and 10% is the interest. So you can take calculator 10,000 debentures into 100 rupees. So debenture capital is 10 lakhs into 10%. So that is 1 lakh. What is 1 lakh? I. So you can write 1 lakh into 1 minus 0.35 plus then what is the redeemable value of all the debentures? 10,000 into 100. 10,000 into 100, 10 lakhs. Minus 10,000 into 80, 8 lakhs divided by 5. Like that also you can do. Answer will be mathematically absolutely same. But wherever it is possible, solve the problem based on one debenture because it will be simple. Instead of taking 10,000 values or 1 lakh values, if you are taking based on one debenture, your life will be simple. Calculations will be simple. So follow like this. We'll take one debenture or we'll take one share, based on that we calculate. You understand? That's it. So are we done with this question? Are we done with this question? Can we move on to next question? So guys, let us move on to next question. Problem number 4. Indebted Limited issued 100% 10% debentures of 100 each. Okay. Redeemable in 10 years. That means a big formula. At 10% premium. So redemption at 10% premium. Cost of issue was 25,000. Same working note. Cost of issue 25,000. Number of debentures 10,000. So per debenture cost, can I say 2 rupee 50 paise? Yes. The company's income tax rate is 35%. Okay. Determine cost of debentures if they were issued A at par, B at a premium of 10%, and C at a discount of 10%. So three situations. Shall we do this? Put the heading problem number 4. Again I am telling you, if you can do it yourself, don't wait for me. Please carry on. Continue. You do it yourself. Okay. Problem number 4. So first we write formula. Which formula? Big formula. Redeemable value minus net proceeds divided by number of years, whole divided by redeemable value plus net proceeds divided by 2 into 100. Correct? So situation A. Debentures issued at par and redeemable at 10% premium. So remember one thing. In all the cases, they are redeemable at 10% premium only. In all the three cases, if you read the question carefully, in all the three situations, redeemable at 10% premium only. issued at par at 10% premium at 10% discount, but redemption always 10% premium. That is what the question is. Okay, so take 10 rupees into 1 minus 0.35 plus redeemable value 110, why 10% premium, minus net proceeds issued at par, means 100 rupee debenture issued at 100 rupee only, but 2 rupee 50 paisa expenses are there, so I am writing 97.50 here, divided by how many years? 10 years. In the question they said redemption period, yes, redeemable after 10 years, so divided by 10, whole divided by 100 plus 97.50 divided by 2 into 100. Okay, try to solve it yourself. 6.50 plus 110 minus 97.5, 110 minus 97.5 divided by 10 years is equal to 1.25, divided by 197.5 divided by 2, that comes to 98.75. So 6.5, 7.75, 7.75 divided by 98.75 percentage, 7.85%, 7.85%. This is the answer. 7.85%, this is the answer. If you can do situation 2 and 3, don't wait for me, do it yourself. For those who cannot solve on their own, I will help you. But if you are a quick learner, run fast. You don't need to wait for me. So this is situation A. Issued at par, redeemable at 10% premium. Now, what is the next situation? Next situation is B. B. Issued at 10% premium. Issued at 10% premium. Redeemable at 10% premium. So what are the calculations? Tell me. 10 into 1 minus 0.35 plus what is redemption value? 110 minus what is issue price? 110 minus 2.5. So 107.5 divided by 10 whole divided by 110 plus 107.5 divided by 2 into 100. That is equal to 6.5 plus. So 110 minus 107.5 is 2 rupee 50 paisa, divided by 10 is 0.25. Divided by 100 plus 110 plus 107. 110 plus 107.5 divided by 2. That is 108.75. 6.75 divided by 108.75. It is 6.21. 6.21%. This is the answer. What is the previous answer? 7.85%. Now we need to do next situation. What is next situation? Next situation is issued at a discount, redeemable at premium. So what is situation C? Issued at 10% discount, redeemable at 10% premium. Correct? Correct. So 10 into 1 minus 0.35 plus 110 is issue price, redemption price 110 minus issue price at 10% discount means 90 rupees minus 2.5. So can I say 87.5 divided by 10 divided by 110 plus 87.5 by 2 into 100. So 6.5 plus 110 minus 87.5 divided by 10, that comes to 2.25 whole divided by 110 plus 87.5 divided by 2, 98.75 into 100. 6.5 plus 2.25 divided by 98.75 percentage, 8.86%. This is the answer. So you are done with that? Any doubts in this? We have solved one problem in three different situations. If the shares are issued at par or debentures are issued at par, debentures are issued at 10% premium, debentures are issued at 10% discount. Three situations we have done. Is that clear? So how many of you got these answers? Okay, listen carefully. In first situation, by mistake we have written 100 in the denominator. It should be 110. Because the redemption value 110, no? So let us recalculate again. I think we have done the answer correct. 110 plus 97.5 divided by 2. No, that is 103.75. So please be careful, my dear friends. Once again, it is 7.75 divided by 103.75 into 100. 7.75 divided by 103.75 percentage. So it comes to 7.47%. It is 7.47%. So please make a note. This part is wrong. Why? Because in the denominator we should consider 110 rupees, but by mistake I have taken 100 rupees. So this is correct. So the first answer is 7.47. The first answer is 7.47. Okay. So let us go to the next question. Problem number 5. Problem number 5. A company is considering raising funds of about 100 lakhs by one of two alternative methods, namely 14% institutional term loan and 13% non-convertible debentures. How much they want? 100 lakhs. How many alternatives they have? Two alternatives. What are they? One, go for a loan. Then your cost will be 14%. Or go for non-convertible debentures. Then your cost will be 13%. The term loan option would attract no major incidental cost. That means if you are going for institutional term loan, no incidental cost. That means issue expenses 0. But if the debentures would be issued, then they would be issued at a discount of 2.5% and would involve cost of issue of rupees 1 lakh. So 2.5% discount you need to give and cost of issue is 1 lakh. So total out of 100 lakhs you are losing 3.5 lakhs. So gross proceeds 100 lakhs minus discount 2.5% means 2.5 lakhs minus other issue cost 1 lakh. So your net proceeds will be 96.5% only. So advise the company as to the better option based on effective cost of capital. Assume a tax rate of 50%. This is the question. Okay. Interesting question, but simple question. Read the question, read the problem once again carefully. Once you read it carefully, if you can solve, please go ahead and do it. Okay. Now look here. Problem number 5. So in this option 1, 14% institutional term loan. So here, since the rate is available, there is no concept of net proceeds. There is no concept of net proceeds because issue expenses are not there. So we can calculate KD is equal to first formula, small I into 1 minus t. 14 into 1 minus 0.5, that comes to 7%. So what is effective cost of capital if you go for option 1? 7%. If you go for option 2, what is option 2? 13% NCD, non-convertible debentures. Okay. Now, gross proceeds. 100 lakhs minus discount. You have to give 2.5 lakh discount, correct? Minus other issue expenses. They said other issue expenses is 1 lakh. So when you subtract net proceeds, how much you'll get? 96.5 lakhs. Net proceeds is 96.5 lakhs. Now we calculate cost of debt. KD is equal to I into 1 minus T divided by net proceeds into 100. Now students will ask a question, Pavan sir, why are we using this formula here? Why are we using this formula here? The difference is, in the second situation you have issue expenses. When you have issue expenses, net proceed is to be taken. In the first option, say imagine in the first option you want to use second formula. Then what happens? 14 will become 14 lakhs. Correct? Why 100 lakhs loan into 14%? It will become 14 lakhs. So it will become 14 lakhs into 1 minus 0.5 divided by what is net proceeds? 100 lakhs only. Into 100. That will come to 7% only, no? So whether you take total amount or you simply take the interest, it will be same. That is the reason when issue expenses are not there, go with this formula. Simple. When issue expenses are there, then you have to come to this formula. What is I? 100 lakhs into 13% is equal to 13 lakhs interest. So 13 lakhs into 1 minus 0.5 divided by 96.5 into 100. You understand this? What is 96.5? Net proceeds. What is 13? Interest. Both calculations I have done. Okay. So 13 into 1 minus 0.5 comes to 6.5 divided by 96.5 percentage. So it is 6.74%. 6.74%. Okay. Now look here. Here your cost is 7%. Here your cost is 6.74%. When you are evaluating a problem, from cost point of view, lesser the better, lower the better. If you are doing it from benefit point of view, profit point of view, higher the better. Because it is cost, lower the better. So what is the conclusion? It is advisable to mobilize the required funds through 13% non-convertible debentures, as the cost of capital is lower. This is the answer. You understand this? So with this, we have completed cost of debt. Now we'll go to cost of preference shares. But before that, there is one more problem. Problem number 6, Reserve Bank of India. Note this problem as very important model. Very, very, very important model. But we will not solve this problem now. We'll solve this problem after completion of capital budgeting, because this has some capital budgeting elements which you cannot understand now. This we'll do later. So now we are going to cost of preference shares. So read question number 7. If Reliance Energy is issuing preferred stock at rupees 100 per share with a stated dividend of rupees 12 and flotation cost of 3%, what is the cost of preference share? Can you tell me the answer? I want answer in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Ten seconds is over. What is the answer? So how many of you got 12.37? 12.37 is correct answer. Okay. Problem number 7. KP is equal to preference dividend divided by market price into 100. That is equal to, what is preference dividend? 12 rupees divided by, do we have market price or issue proceeds? Flotation cost. So issue proceeds. So we can write net issue proceeds. Net proceeds. What is net proceeds? 100 minus 3 rupees into 100. That is equal to 12 by 97 into 100. That is equal to 12.37%. This is the answer. How many of you got correct answer? So we'll go to problem number 8. 8, 9, 10, 11. If you can do, you do it yourself. Okay. Now, problem number 8. XYZ company issues 2010% preference shares of 100 rupees each at 95 each. So what is face value of preference share? 100 rupees. What is issue price? 95. Calculate the cost of preference shares. Seriously? This is also a question. Pawan sir, why are you teaching this kind of questions, Pawan sir? Because these are ICI study material questions. What can we do? Okay. So 10 by 95 into 100. Is it 8th problem? 10 by... Array? Excuse me. 10 by 95 into 100. 8th problem. That is equal to 10 by 95, 10.53, 10.53. Okay, so this is 8th question. Now, 9th question. Referring to earlier question, but taking into consideration that if the company proposes to redeem the preference shares at the end of 10th year from the date of issue, calculate the cost of preference shares. So now they are becoming redeemable at the end of 10th year. So redemption value not given. I told you already, note. If in the problem they say that they are redeemable, but redemption value is not given, then assume that they are redeemable at par. So now redemption price is 100, issue price is 95, and the life is 10 years. So now we'll use big formula, 9. KP is equal to preference dividend plus redeemable value minus net proceeds divided by N whole divided by redeemable value plus net proceeds divided by 2 into 100. That is equal to, what is preference dividend? Preference dividend 10 rupees. Plus, what is redeemable value? 100. Minus what is net proceeds? 95. Divided by how many years? 10. Divided by 100 plus 95 by 2 into 100. So 10 rupees, 100 minus 95 is 5. 5 divided by 10 is 0.5. So it is 10.5 numerator divided by 195 divided by 2. 195 divided by 2. Is it 97.5? So it is 10.77%. 10.77%. This is the answer. So how many of you got this answer? Any doubt? I hope you have done this. So let's move on to next question. Question number 10. X Limited issued 30,000 15% preference shares of rupees 100 each. The cost of issue was 30,000. Determine the cost of preference capital if shares are issued A at par, B at a premium of 10% and C at a discount of 10%. Oh my God. What is this? Same question. In debentures we have seen this question already. So how many debentures are preference shares are issued? 30,000. What is cost of issue? 30,000. So can I say per share issue price is 1 rupee? Per share issue price is 1 rupee. So now they are saying if the shares are issued A at par, B at premium, C at discount, 15% preference shares. So problem number 10. A. Shares issued at par. So what is KP? KP is equal to preference dividend by net proceeds into 100. So what is preference dividend? 15 rupees divided by what is net proceeds? What is net proceeds? So you issued at par, that means 100 rupees share at 100 rupees only, but 1 rupee issue expense is there. So can I write 99 into 100? So is it 15.15%? B. Shares issued at discount. Or you can write premium also first. Whatever the sequence in the question, follow that. Discount 10%. So then it will be 15 divided by 89 into 100. 16.85%. C, shares issued at 10% premium. Then it becomes 15 divided by 109 into 100. That comes to 13.76. This is the question. Toing, toing, toing. Hello? Very good. So these are the answers. How many of you have solved it correct? So this is also simple question, right? Next question, problem number 11. Y Limited issued 30,000 15% preference shares of 100 each, redeemable at 10% premium after 20 years. Oh my god. Redeemable, big formula. Issue management expenses were 30,000. That means per share 1 rupee. Find out the cost of preference shares if shares are issued A at par, B at premium 10%, C at a discount of 10%. Shall we do it? Now students will say, Pavan sir, you take rest Pavan sir. 3 minutes give us Pavan sir. We will solve this Pavan sir. Don't worry Pavan sir. Sit Pavan sir. Okay. I will sit and relax. You solve it and tell me the answer. So shall we look at the answer? Shall we look at the answer? Redeemable at 10% premium after 20 years. That means redemption value is always 110. So, situation A. First, let us write the formula. KP is equal to PD plus redeemable value minus net proceeds divided by number of years divided by redeemable value plus net proceeds divided by 2 into 100. So, A. In A situation, what is PD? Given in the question 15 plus 15 plus what is redeemable value? Always 110 minus what is net issue proceeds? First situation you issued at par, that means 100 share for 100 rupees minus 1 rupee. So 99 divided by 20 years whole divided by 110 plus 99 by 2 into 100. That is equal to, tell me how much? 15 plus 110 minus 99, is it 11? Divided by 20, is it 0.55? Divided by 110 plus 99 divided by 2, that is 104.5 into 100. 15.55 divided by 104.5 percentage, 14.88%. This is answer for first situation. Then answer for second situation B. 15 remains same, 110 remains same. Because you are issuing at a premium, 100 rupee share you will issue at 110 rupees. Minus 1 rupee issue expenses, 109 divided by 20 divided by 110 plus 109 divided by 2 into 100. That is equal to 15 plus 1 rupee divided by 20 rupees. It should be 0.05 divided by 110 plus 109 divided by 2. It should be 109.5. 15.05 divided by 109.5%. 13.74. Then third situation. $15 plus 110 redemption value minus when you issue shares at a discount, 100 rupee share you will issue at 90 rupees, correct? Minus 1, 89 divided by 20 divided by 110 plus 89 by 2 into 100. That is equal to 15 plus 110 minus 89, 21 divided by 20. That comes to 1.05 divided by 110 plus 89 divided by 2. That comes to 99.5. 16.05 divided by 99.5% is 16.13%. These are the answers. Okay, so how many of you got these answers? Tell me. So guys, so far we have completed cost of debt and cost of preference share capital. Now we need to move on to next level, which is cost of equity share capital, which is very conceptual, interesting, not complex, easy, but it has, lot of brainstorming, lot of thinking, lot of logic and calculations. Okay, so put the heading cost of equity share capital. Cost of equity share capital. Under that, write down point number 1. Point number 1. While calculating the cost of debt and the cost of preference share capital, we have a base, that is the interest rate and dividend rate. Okay, also redeemable value is promised, and hence calculations are simple. In case of equity shares, neither a fixed dividend rate is given nor redemption value. Don't you think this is going to be the game changer? So when we are calculating cost of debt, basis is there. What is the interest you are paying is there. Then what we are doing, small modifications we are doing, either we are considering that issue expenses, or we are considering market price, or considering this tax impact. So like that, small modifications we do, but the foundation is there. No, foundation is interest rate. In case of cost of preference, foundation is dividend rate, but in case of cost of equity, that basic foundation is missing. There is no basis. So now you are on the crossroads. How? One side, predetermined consideration is not there, like interest or dividend rate is not there. Two, redemption value is not there. So there is basically no contract between company and the investor. In case of debentures, there is a contract. In case of preference shares also, on the preference bond, like when you are issuing preference shares, you are writing and you are giving that I will pay you 10% dividend, I will pay you 15% dividend. In case of equity, it is not there. In case of equity, it is not there. So write down, therefore cost of equity is calculated using the following factors. A, dividends already paid in bracket D0. B, dividends expected to be paid in the next year. D1, that means dividend of next year. D0 means dividend of previous year, already paid. D1 means dividend expected to be paid in the next year. So that 0, 1, 2, it is there, no? D0, D1, D2 we call, no? That represents the time zone from today. D0 means today. D1 means from today 1 year. D2 means from today 2 years. D3 means from today 3 years. So, what is the amount of dividend the company paid last year? So, it is simple. You are my friend and you asked me, Pavan, I have 1 lakh rupees. I want to invest in a company. Where should I invest? I said, invest in IOC, Indian Oil Corporation. You said, Pavan, if I invest in IOC, how much of consideration I will get? I said, there is no standard like that. Then you said, Pavan, if I do not know how much I will get, how can I invest 1 lakh rupees in IOC? Then I said, bro, simple. Last year, how much of dividend they paid? Read the news. So open NSE website or BSE website or open third-party website like, NDTV Profit or moneycontrol.com, Value Research. Some random website open karo. Or open IOC website. Open IOC website. Go to Google www.ioc.com. What is the dividend paid last year? So news will come. So last year, company paid 18% dividend. This year also, you can expect 18% because we do not know whether the company will maintain the same or no. But that is the only basis. I really do not know. Next year, company can give 22%. Next year, company can give 5%. Or next year, company can say, sorry, no profit this year, no dividend. But the only available information I have is previous year the company has given 18%. So maybe I expect 18%. Then, as a friend, you are asking me, Pavan, last year company has given 18%. Don't you think it will increase? Don't you think it will increase? Usually, there will be a growth factor in dividend. For example, you joined in a job. Last year, 25,000 is the salary. Will you work this year also for 25,000? After 1 year, you will go to your boss and say, sir, last year I joined for 25,000. That time you said after 1 year you will see my performance and you will increase. You know now I am a dedicated worker. Please give me some hike in my salary. Growth. Then your boss said, okay, take 10% growth. Take 15% growth. Take 20% growth. So last year your salary is 25,000. This year take 27,500. So when he gives you 10% growth, last year 25,000 plus if you add 10%, you will get 27,500. Then you said, boss, thank you. So similarly, you have given your house property on rent. You have given your house property on rent. So last year rent was 10,000. Don't you think after 1 year you will increase the rent? Maybe 500 rupees, 1000 rupees, not more. Not more. So don't you think rental values are increasing year by year? Salaries are increasing year by year. Inflations are increasing. Prices will increase. So this equity shareholder is asking, dear IOC, last year you paid 18%. No, this year little more. Please, 10% more. But my dear friend, 18% on that 10% growth will not become 28. Some students will say, sir, last year 18%, this year growth 10%, so it is 28%. No, 18% on that 10% means 1.8. 18% into 10% means 1.8. So 1.8 plus 18 will become 19.8. So last year company paid 18%. This year 10% growth is expected. So it will become 19.8%. You understand? You understand? So shareholder expects growth in dividend. Growth in dividend. D. Earnings per share. E. Capital appreciation. So when I have invested, share was 110 rupees. Today, share is 137 rupees. I am happy. I got that capital appreciation. Then F. Risk in investing in the equity of specific company. Equity shares of a company. So investing in shares of a company is risky, no? For example, if you are investing money in a company like Adani, it is too risky. Today investing shares in Reliance Industries is also risky because already the valuations are very high. So when you are investing money in shares of a company, that is obviously risky. There is no risk-free share. Every share is risky. So these are various factors. Shareholder considers to calculate return on investment. So what all these things are? So there are certain factors. Because again I am telling you, why are we discussing all these things? Because like in case of preference share, we have predetermined rate of dividend. In case of loans or debentures, we have predetermined rate of interest. That kind of solid basis foundation is not there for cost of equity. So cost of equity is calculated using some factors. Either it can be dividends already paid or dividends that will be paid in the next year, growth in dividends, earnings per share, capital appreciation, risk in investing. So these are various factors to be considered. So 3. Basically what are we doing, 3. Cost of equity. Write down. Cost of equity is nothing but the expected return on investment of equity shareholder. So we know one simple logic. For company, for investor. So investor invested in equity shares. For company, it is capital. For investor, it is investment. So obviously, return on investment of investor is cost of capital to company. That is the reason we calculate return on investment to equity shareholder and say that is cost of capital to company. That's all. Now you may ask, Pavan sir, why are we doing this? Don't we have any other opportunity? Don't we have any other option? No, there is no other option. Why I'll tell you. Imagine Infosys issued shares in 1995. Imagine. After 1995 till today, 25 years, they have not issued shares. For example, this 25 years, every day people are buying shares of Infosys, every day people are selling, but it is secondary market, no? One investor is selling to another investor. Pavan is selling to X, X is selling to Y, A is purchasing from B, C is buying from D. So transactions are happening between investors, but transaction is not happening between shareholder and the company. Company issues shares only in IPO or FPO. IPO means initial public offer. FPO means further public offer. So daily company will not issue shares, no? Every day company will not issue shares. Good companies, they will not issue shares once in 10 years also. Reliance issued shares 30 years back. That's all. So how can you calculate cost of capital from company point of view? From company point of view, if you are thinking cost of capital means only dividend. Only dividend. Other than that, there is no cost from company point of view. But if you are investor, you are investing money in shares of a company, then you will calculate today's market price, today's dividend, next year dividend, expected growth rate, what is the risk involved. All this is your analysis, shareholder analysis, not company analysis. Company is least bothered of. Imagine I bought Infosys shares at 800 rupees. I sold at 1000 rupees. Company is not bothered of whether Pavan earns profit, whether Pavan loses money, whether Pavan is happy, whether Pavan is crying, will not make any difference to the company. What they do is, in the long term, whether the growth trend is continuing in the price or no, is only their concern. What is happening to individual investor, they are least bothered. They do not even consider the shareholder who is buying shares, selling shares, speculating, doing forwards, futures, options. They are least bothered. So, the only way of calculating cost of equity is return on investment of equity shareholder. Calculate return on investment of equity shareholder and then say this is cost of capital to the company. That is all. Now write down point number 4. Cost of equity can be defined as the minimum rate of return the minimum rate of return the company should earn so as to meet the expectations of investor. Cost of equity can be defined as the minimum rate of return the company should earn so as to meet the expectations of investor. That means imagine for example there is one investor Mr. A. His expected ROI is 18%. So with an expectation that he will earn 18% from this share, he invested money in a company. You invested money expecting that you will get 18%. Okay, after 1 year or after a while, need not be 1 year, after a few days, after a while, the company has given returns of situation A 24%, situation B 18%, situation C 4%. So what is your expectation? 18%. How much company gave? 24%, situation A. So will you be happy or no? Yes. Pavan sir, I am very happy. Toy. Happy. Here people continue holding shares plus buy new shares. Again they'll buy. So previously I have 1000 shares in this company. Now I'll buy another 1000 shares. Why? Because the company is earning more money. I'm happy. So now market price of share increases. Here what happens? Market price of share increases. Because shareholder is happy. They are buying. When more people are buying, demand will be more. So price will increase. Then if it is 18% indifferent, I am happy because I got my 18% expectation, but I am not super excited. I thought 18%, I got 18%. Okay. So I hold the shares, neither I sell off the shares nor I buy new shares. So people hold the shares. Imagine I expected 18% and the company announced their financial results today and they announced 4%. I will be panic. I'll be panic and I'll hate the company now. I feel I wasted my money investing in this company. Waste of investment. I feel if I invest in bank fixed deposit, I would have got 7%, 8%. See, 4% actually is not a bad return because many companies will give negative returns. You will lose money. In equity markets, when you invest money, you will not even retain your principal amount. You will lose that money also. So sometimes it can be minus 70%, minus 80%, minus possible. Sometimes it can be plus 100% also. Sometimes it can be plus 100% also. There are some shares, when you invest in that share, within 1 month it will be doubled. Jackpot. Sometimes you invested money in a share, it will fall like hell. Then what will you do? Pavan sir, 18% I expected, now I got only 4%, what will you do? People sell shares. So market price of share will fall. Here market price of share will be maintained. You understand? So this is how the stock market works. Having said this, I am aggressive investor. I invested money in Infosys. I am expecting 24%. You are little conservative. You also invested in Infosys. You are expecting only 14%. Some other guy is expecting only 10%. So every shareholder expectation will differ. So it is not necessary that Infosys has 5 lakh shareholders, every shareholder will expect same ROI. No. Usually we consider the average. On an average, what is happening, that is what we consider. So as a financial analyst will calculate and say, if you invest in Infosys shares, 17.5% you will be able to earn. That should be the expected return on investment. That is how experts can tell you. If expert tells you 17.5, then if you say, Pawan sir, I want 50%, you have to go to 7th floor. You cannot get it. That is speculation. You understand? This is how we calculate. So, now write down formulae. Cost of equity can be calculated in any of the following methods. Cost of equity can be calculated in any of the following methods. Serial number, method, formula. Method 1. Dividend yield model. This is also known as dividend discount model. Okay, discounted dividends model or dividend discount model. Then write down KE is equal to D by P into 100. Dividend yield model or dividend discount model, KE is equal to D by P into 100. So what is D? D is equal to dividend per share. P is equal to market price of share. What is D? Dividend per share. What is P? Market price of share. This is first formula. Second formula. Dividend growth model. Dividend growth model. KE is equal to D1 by P0 plus G into 100. D1 by P0 plus G into 100. Where D1 is equal to expected dividend of next year. D1 is equal to D0 into 1 plus G. D0 is equal to dividend already paid. That means previous year dividend. P0 is equal to current market price of share. G is equal to expected growth rate. This is second model. Third model. 3. Earnings yield model. KE is equal to EPS by P into 100. EPS is equal to earnings per share. P is equal to market price of share. Denominator you can write MPS also. Either you can write simply P price or you can write MPS market price of share. Either you can write P simply or you can write MPS. Then 4. Earnings growth model. KE is equal to EPS by MPS plus growth. into 100. So if you observe 1 and 3 are twins, 2 and 4 are twins. Formula 1, Formula 3, they are same. First formula is based on DPS, DPS by market price into 100. Third formula is EPS by market price into 100. If you recollect properly, do you remember in ratio analysis, you have read some formulae? Market based profitability ratios to investor, dividend yield ratio, DPS by MPS into 100, earnings yield ratio, EPS by MPS into 100. You read these two formulae there itself. Now, if you are expecting some growth rate, you are adding a growth rate to the formula. That's all. Okay. This is 4. 5. Realized yield approach. KE is equal to P1 minus P0 plus D1 divided by P0 into 100. This is D0. P1 minus P0 plus D0 divided by P0 into 100. Then write down P1 is equal to price at the end of first year. At the end of year 1. In brackets write down selling price. What is this? I will explain you. Don't worry. P0 is equal to price at the beginning of the period. At the beginning of year 1. This is buying price. End of year 0 means beginning of year 1. Okay. Then D0, you know, dividend already paid. Sixth formula. I'll explain you 5 and 6, don't worry. Capital asset pricing model. KE is equal to RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Super formula. RF is equal to risk-free rate of return. RF is equal to risk-free rate of return. B is equal to beta coefficient, which is risk indicator. RM is equal to market return, or you can write down return on market portfolio. RM minus RF is equal to market risk premium. Sare, what is this, Sare? All everything Greek and Latin, Sare. You are discussing about the stock market, Sare. Don't worry, I will explain this. So there are 6 different formulae in which cost of equity can be calculated, and there is nowhere written that there cannot be 7th way. There can be another approach also, but usually these are globally accepted approaches. So there are 6 ways in which cost of equity can be calculated. 6 ways. We'll solve problems on all these 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 already explained. 5th one and 6th one I'll explain again when we are doing problems. Okay. So have you copied? Have you copied? So can we go to questions?